Tonight, by some miracle, artificial light entered my home. I was about to feed my fish when from the living room I noticed a soft glow on the floor, harshly pale against the orange light of my lantern. What forces are at work I cannot say, yet sure enough, my television, which has until this night lain dormant for the past 2.5 years, was bathing the living room in radiant white. I sat inches from the screen, filling my view with the dizzying static, an unending torrent of senseless flecks, behaving according to an unknown logic. I thought of my mother, and the way she would warn my sister and me not to sit too close to the television when we were children. I scooted back a bit, out of obedience to some long-dead sentimentality. I might have sat there for hours if I hadn't remembered that my poor fish had not had his supper. It's funny that a goldfish outlived most of the human race. Who knows, maybe he'll outlive me too. When I came back to the living room, the screen was empty and dead. I tried to turn it on again without success. I feel lost. It's like the universe briefly acknowledged my existence, and then remembered it had better things to do. Last night I had trouble sleeping. I couldn't stop thinking about the television set, and how it might have turned on like that after so many years of quiet. A few times, I imagined I heard voices coming from the living room, but when I got up to check, there was nothing there. Can't remember how long it's been since I've heard a human voice, either real or imagined. I stayed up and watched the sunrise. It's been a long time since I've done that. Despite all that's changed, it's nice to know there are a few constants in the world. I'd almost accepted the incident from last night as a hallucination or a dream, until at 10 p.m. I heard a faint hum coming from the living room. To my delight, the TV had once again come to life in its blizzard of static. As I watched, I began to see shapes forming, like clouds that seem to take the form of animals the longer you look at them. At one point, I could have sworn the face of a woman stared back at me from behind the static. Then, without warning, the screen went black. For 3 days, the television remained dormant, until tonight something amazing happened. I was outside collecting rainwater when, through the window, I saw the television's familiar glow illuminating the adjacent wall. I rushed inside, and to my amazement, the television framed not a torrential downpour of static, but the flickering image of children on a small carousel. I haven't seen another human being in 2 years. To whatever god or stray signal that sent me this gift, thank you. Yet again, the television has blessed me. This time, the image was much more clear. In the distance, a ship broke through the fog, carrying a long-forgotten cargo to a long-forgotten place. I rarely think about other survivors anymore. I imagine if I ran into someone else like me, the conversation would feel forced and awkward, like bumping into an acquaintance you feel obligated to talk to. The last 6 days in a row the television has come to life. The staticky images are gone. Now the picture is crisp almost every time. My favorite scenes are the ones with animals in them. I'd never cared much for animals, but now that they're dead, I find them fascinating. It's like the way an artist can get more famous after dying. I feel awfully bad for those dead artists out there, 'cause I guess I'm their only audience now. And I'm just waiting for the TV to turn back on. Last night, the screen was empty. I sat in front of it for hours until I fell asleep on the rug. It was hard to leave the house at all today, on account of the rain as well as a dull ache in my head that I can't get rid of. It's not like there's any use leaving home these days. Still nothing from the TV set. Maybe I imagined it all. Come on, just a flicker. Maybe a little bit of static. For God's sake, I'd watch color bands all day if you'd just turn on. After 2 weeks of constant disappointment, I've decided this has to end. I'm taking the TV to the lake now. I'm going to throw it in and watch it sink to the bottom. Whether or not I'll be following it depends on my mood when I get there.